And finally, you have the young guys Jado, Nuwop, and the youngest Ty Munna.
Look at these babies.
Babe, all these niggas was babies when we first saw them. Now they doing interviews, babe. These gonna be the next nigga. It's gonna be 3 niggas out this group who gonna survive and they gonna be doing interviews in 5 years. That's crazy. What is good, people? We are back at it again. It's keithvsstar, and we're gonna be doing part 2. O Block, New Civil War. We ain't gonna do too much of an intro on this. This is just gonna be part 2 of that video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, share the video if you like. Over 90% of y'all are not subbed to the channel. Make sure if you're watching this that you sub to the channel. We putting out a video every day, so make sure you got your notification bells on. You know when that video is coming out. Let's get right to it.
Was actually able to beat his murder case and was released back onto the streets. This couldn't have been at a better time, because had he been released earlier, he may have thrown his life away getting back for T-Roy. But now that the streets were quiet, Vaughn was able to focus on his newly found love. Instead of chasing down ops, he was now chasing down studio time.
That's when I'm with Dirk and he doing all this shit and shit. Ooh, that's when I'm like, I'm gonna rap, try to rap. It was just the point, like, I'm on a block and I gotta study ass go for money. So now I need something to do.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do.
On May 27th, 2018, he released his first single, Beat That Body, which got him popping in the Chicago streets. Then with Dirk's cosign and consistent success, his career took off in a major way. So with all this new fame and money, Vaughn decided to move to Atlanta where he could thrive and not think about ducking rivals. The future was looking bright for Vaughn and the rest of O Block, but then everything would come crumbling down. On August 4th, 2020, 6 members of Get Back Gang would crash out in the dumbest way possible. Essentially, STL's biggest rapper FBG Duck is spotted at the mall by a man who doesn't like him. The man is upset that Duck is having relations with his girlfriend and he wants to do something about it. But instead of confronting...
That's some hating ass shit, bro. He piping your chick and you get mad, so you call somebody to kill him. Why you ain't do it yourself? I ain't gonna say that. See, that's how they end up killing each other. Because somebody is like, why don't you do it yourself?
Confronting him himself, he decides to call up Duck's biggest ops. He calls up Get Back Gang and makes up a lie that Duck chased him through the mall with a... So instantly 6 Get Back Gang members hop in 2 cars and leave out of O Block. They head directly to Duck's location, which happens to be the wealthiest mall in all of Illinois. They drive around until they spot him outside in line of the Dolce & Gabbana store. And that's when the members make their tragic decision. This right here was the sloppiest drill that they had ever done. Not only did they do it in the richest part of Chicago, but they also never took the license plates off their cars. Because of this, they were all bound to get arrested. It was only a matter of time. This dumb decision would end up being the very end of Get Back Gang. Then, just a few months later, O Block's leader would lose his life. On November 6, 2020, Vaughn would lose his life in Atlanta after a serious altercation.
Have been following all morning long. 2 men killed in an overnight shootout with Atlanta police and 2 groups of people. Joe Ripley has more as the GVI steps in to investigate.
Atlanta police say 2 people are dead after an officer-involved shooting here on Trinity Avenue in downtown.
As dawn turned to daylight, you could make out dozens of evidence markers. GBI crime scene investigators combing the scene.
Pretty active scene, pretty chaotic.
Vaughn was truly the king of O Block, as he was the one who was keeping everyone together and also making sure that everyone was putting in work. On top of this, he was the bridge between the younger and older generations, making sure that respect was always intact. In Chicago, the young generations of hoods have been known to backdoor the OGs or anyone who they want. It's nothing like LA where there's structures and commands of respect. It's pretty much everyone is free for all. However, because of OD, T-Roy, and then Kingvon, everything in O Block was always intact. But now, you'll see what happens. While Get Back Gang was fading away, a new generation of O Block was coming up out of nowhere. But this generation is rarely heard about, as many people believe that O Block died when Kingvon did. This couldn't be further from the truth, as Vaughn left them an awful legacy to look up to. As much as he was praised and idolized for what he did, you could only imagine that the misguided youth would try to imitate his life. But unlike Vaughn, this generation has no loyalty to those around them, and they'll even cross an OG if they want to. But first, let me introduce you to the next generation. We start out with a teenager named Jamon Brown, commonly known as Munna Mond. As a kid, Mon spent
Mon
his whole
who?
childhood in Oblak,
Mon
witnessing all of the
Amand.
tragedies you've seen in this video. But despite this adversity, Mont had a good head on his shoulders and was able to do well in school through all the chaos. I mean, he even played on his high school soccer team. So while his friends were already in the streets, he was mainly focused on college and his financial future. Well, his determination would pay off as he was accepted to Western Illinois University, where he enrolled as a freshman. Life was looking like
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this ain't adding up. He was in college. He was a soccer player. How we get to the killing?
They gonna tell us.
It feel fake to me. Feel like somebody who just acting like they killing. We
a
gonna
success
see.
story for Jamon, but after a few months in college, things would take a sharp left turn. On November 20th, 2019, Jamon was having mental outbursts in his dorm, prompting other students to call security. So security comes and they notice that he's acting erratic and uncontrollable. He won't answer questions or sit down, so they decide to call an ambulance to transport him to the hospital. There, Jamon is visited by a psychologist who tries to make attempts to understand what's going on. Typically, college students can have breakdowns due to stress or social pressure, but this case was a little bit different. Jamon had witnessed so much trauma in his life, and much of it was boiling up inside without any help. Well, because of the severity of his mental state, the psychologist asks him to stay in the hospital until he fully calms down. But Jamon understandably doesn't want to be there, so he decides to head back to campus against the hospital's wishes. Well, little does he know, his university banned him from ever returning to the dorms. So as soon as he
Why?
enters the building, he's noticed by security who decides
How did he get banned?
He got banned for having a mental breakdown?
That's
Y'all see? That don't make sense. It gotta be something in between that. Did he attack somebody? Did he do something reckless? Like he just got banned because he got banned? Like what are we talking about?
to call 911. So police instantly come to his dorm and arrest him for trespassing. But Jamon resists the arrest and won't comply, prompting the officers to take him to jail. This is truly sad because Jamon needed help from the university and the system, not to be trespassed and arrested. Like, how does this possibly help in the situation? Now you're gonna turn a kid who's seeking mental health into a criminal? Well, sadly, the situation would get even worse. During the ride to jail, Jamon has another outburst where he kicks the door and says that he's gonna blow things up.
Motherfuckers can't even go to school without y'all harassing people. Like, what the fuck? Y'all don't get sick of harassing people, bro? Y'all don't even know what is wrong, bro. Y'all just can't get no peace, bro. You get arrested for nothing. This makes no sense. Like, no sense, bro. No sense. I promise to God I will blow this up. I swear to God I will. I swear
Now they
to God I
finna hit
will.
him with terroristic threats.
I don't give a about a felony. I don't give a I come from felonies.
Now Jamon was in serious trouble, facing multiple charges and being expelled from school. But thankfully he was blessed with a forgiving judge and eventually his charges would be dropped. Sadly though, he now had to return to Oblak where his surroundings instantly got worse. Trust me, the Parkway Gardens is no place for anyone dealing with mental health. And on top of this, his return home would be at the worst time possible as it was right at the start of a new generation of Oblak versus Taekwon World beef. While Jamon was off in college, his friends were jumping off the porch on the rivals. And on that note, let me introduce you to the new generation of Oblak. First you have Jamon's best friend named Lil Mike, a young dude who's known for being reckless in the streets. Then you have Taekwon Manny, also known as TQ, a 17-year-old known for getting money. Next you have his older brother DQ, who's on the same height but he's also trying to be the next kingvon. And finally you have the young guys Jado, Nuwop, and the youngest Tai Mana.
Look at these babies.
Babe, all these niggas was babies when we first saw them. Now they doing interviews, babe. These gonna be the next nigga. It's gonna be 3 niggas out this group who gonna survive and they gonna be doing interviews in 5 years. That's crazy.
So directly after Mon's return from college, this is exactly who he was hanging with. And just 2 weeks after his return, things would get tragic for the first time in this generation. That takes us to December 8th, 2019. It's a Monday afternoon in Oblak and TQ gets ready to do business in another hood. Specifically, he heads 15 minutes down the road to a hood called Fintown. Fintown has nothing to do with Oblak, so TQ figures that everything is straight. So he arrives in their hood and waits on 87th in order to make a deal that he set up online. He waits and waits and waits, but suspiciously nobody shows up. Then after 10 minutes of waiting, a man in a mask approaches him quickly, and sadly the man makes a tragic decision. Everyone was devastated, but also puzzled about the situation. Who could have done this to TQ, and why did they set him up? At first, it didn't make any sense, but then the Oblakians started putting 2 and 2 together. And it all centered around an alleged Fintown member named BCR Measle. Why? Well, because he happens to be the first cousin of FBG Doug. Now, of course, this is just speculation, but later in the video, it will make sense. So remember the name, BCR Measle. Well, regardless, this is when the new generation of O-Block decided to step up. This includes Munamond and of course all of the other members I mentioned. But before there was Get Back, sadly they would lose another friend. 2 months later, February 8th, 2020, 2:30 p.m. Jado gets a text from his friend Dinero asking him to come over and make a deal. So Jado instantly gets ready so that he can head over there. But as soon as he departs from O-Block, a man is following him. He catches up to Jado and doesn't say a word. Instead, he makes a terrible decision.
God
Yeah.
Jado was like the O.D. Perry or the T-Roy of the new generation. He was charismatic, he brought everyone together, but he was also nothing to play with.
He was like our age group, like the new generation from our block. He was the leader. I'ma say, yeah. He's like,
Nigga, you 16, they 26. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You niggas want to die so bad.
He looks 16 in this video.
His lining don't. You 16, your lining should be way closer. Y'all better stop letting these barbers push y'all lining back talking about it's crispy, bro. That is not how linings are supposed to work. His line, look at his taper, bro. His taper is above his eyebrows. That was like a rule, fam. If my taper go past my eyebrows, I might have to fight you. I'm 16, my taper shouldn't be that fucking high, bro.
like the brain, like one of the smartest one out of all us. Yeah, like folks, folks like the brain and the muscle.
That's crazy.
Like,
He ain't got no real line.
mastermind
That's
after all
not a
this
real
shit.
Well,
line.
according to O-Block, the young generation started calling themselves the Jado Jumpouts. Now everyone was on board to get revenge for Jado, but there was one question. Who did this, and did Dinero set him up? Well, right after the news broke, Dinero posted a screenshot of his last conversation with Jado, pretty much saying that he wishes he never texted him because that way he would have never come outside. So now that Dinero was in the clear, who could it have possibly been? Well, the rival Taekwon World side started celebrating, which pretty much revealed itself. Specifically, a Taekwon World member named D Money would go on live and troll Jado.
Jado got it smoked. And we still spinning like 5 cars deep, no rap.
This would not end well for D Money. May 15th, 2020. It's a nice warm evening in Southside Chicago, and D Money is outside walking his dog. As he's casually walking around his neighborhood,
I am pretty sure that ain't what his dog looks like.
Pitbull or Rottweiler, which one?
I don't know, but it wasn't that. It wasn't
all
that.
creeps up on him. That's when a man hops out of the passenger seat and runs all the way up to him. And before D Money can even react, the man makes a terrible decision.
He keeps saying it. Bang.
And just like that, another generation of Taekwon World versus O-Block beef was stamped. It's the same exact way that T-Roy and Vaughn went on a tear for OD, and then how Get Back Gang went on a tear for T-Roy. If one thing is for certain, it's that starting a beef with O-Block is never a good idea. Once you poke the bear, they just never stop coming, and there's no timeline on revenge. And that fast forwards us a year to February 8th, 2021. In Chicago, trying to throw parties or just having fun with your friends is never an easy task. You never know if your ops are going to show up to the party or if a simple argument will turn deadly. So because of this, many people from the hood of Chicago will head out to other cities to have some fun and pee.
I figured it out. Taekwon World and O-Block are the same, are from the same place. The Taekwon World dudes was the O-Block little homies. So O-Block killed the dude who was the head of Taekwon World. That's how this happened. I think, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Sometimes they'll go up to Milwaukee, out to Iowa City, or potentially down to Indianapolis. But for FBG, they tend to stay closer to home in the tucked-off suburb of Bloomingdale, Illinois. In particular, they rent out a couple rooms at the Indian Lakes Hotel where they can have some peaceful fun. Well, on this particular Friday night, the word gets out and over 200 people show up to the hotel. This includes FBG Duck's cousin Measle, who O-Block believe claimed the life of TQ. Because of this, Measle happens to be one of the most wanted men in Southside Chicago. But on this night, he figures no one will find him and he can sit back and have some good old fun. The party is jumping, girls are twerking everywhere, and everything is going well for over an hour. It gets to the point where the whole 6th floor hallway is flooded with people, and it's a party like you've never seen before. Well, at 2 a.m., a couple of men in masks wiggle through the hallways looking for Measle. They then push their way into the party where they see him.
Trash name.
Sadly, they make a tragic decision.
I don't want to be named after a kid disease.
That's right. Right now, police still here on scene of the hotel serving search warrants, looking for evidence like weapons linked to this investigation. Police tell me this isn't the first time they've been called to the hotel. It was the sound of gunfire coming from the Indian Lakes Hotel. Police tell me this isn't the first time they've been called to the hotel. It was the sound of gunfire coming from the Indian Lakes Hotel around 2:30 this morning that prompted this massive police response.
Units respond to Indian Lakes Resort for the shots fired report, 250 West Chick.
What police say started as a large hotel party with nearly 200 people ended in gunfire, and a Chicago man is dead.
For a hotel party.
Unfortunately, there were even more because over 100 people fled the hotel before we had contact with them.
The victim identified as 27-year-old James McGill. McGill lived in the city's Inglewood neighborhood. Police say they've been called out to the hotel for drug and gun cases in the past, even writing a letter to hotel management, asking them to address these issues.
Lighting, security, additional staff, management on duty. So we've conveyed to them that we had concerns back then, and we almost predicted that something could happen there.
During the party, which spanned 2 floors, investigators say only one employee was working, and
damn, they had
security on.
These niggas had 2 floors at a hotel?
And 1 employee working.
Well, because of this incident, the owners of the Indian Lakes Hotel were forced to shut down their business. So not only did May 15th claim a life, but it also claimed a major business for a family.
New at 10, the Indian Lakes Hotel in west suburban Bloomingdale will shutter for good after a deadly shooting there last month. Today, the hotel's owner, First Hospitality Group, agreed to surrender its business license and end all business on the property. Bloomingdale village leaders said the hotel had been a trouble spot for years.
Well, even though there were 200 people at the party, 0 people came forward with evidence. So of course we don't officially know who did this, but an O-Block member would post something on his story. The day after the incident, he would post a picture with a cutout of TQ and he'd say, "And now his killer is dead." On top of this, just the next day, a whole crew of O-Blockians would seemingly celebrate the loss. The new generation of O-Block was doing the same exact things as the past, but thankfully to this point O-Block was still unified as one, even after the loss of all their leaders. But then the Jado jumpouts would ruin all of that for the first time ever. These guys would instantly become more reckless than any generations of the past. So here's how it goes. The story goes that Munamond made the reckless decision to rob an OG O-Block member for $15,000. In the history of O-Block, this has never been okay, and OD, T-Roy, and Vaughn would definitely not allow this, especially because the alleged victim was one of T-Roy and Vaughn's closest friends. But for the young generation like Munamond, they had no respect for the elders and would literally cross anyone for money. Well, because of these
like
reckless actions, an original O-Block member named A-Roy would call for the DP of Munamond. A-Roy was a respected and active member since back in the day, as you can even see him in vlogs from around 2012. So because of his seniority in the hood, he had every right to discipline Munamond. That takes us to December 15th, 2021. It's a regular day in O-Block and all of the younger generation are hanging out inside the gates like any other day. This includes Munamond, who's chilling like he has nothing to worry about. He knows the older generation had warned him about what they're gonna do, but he simply just doesn't care. Well, A-Roy was not just talking, as here he comes ready to fight Munamond. So he walks up to him in front of the whole neighborhood, and boom, he starts whooping him. Everyone in the neighborhood is watching, and there's even girls on the top floor recording it. Then when A-Roy lets up on him, a tragedy strikes. Bang! A shot goes off and Aroy is rushed to the hospital. Sadly though, he wouldn't make it after surgery.
Hold on, babe. This bitch ass nigga did not get DP, and instead of taking his L from his big homie, he killed him?
Aroy had survived all those years in the streets just to lose his life like this. He was a valuable and well-respected member of the community, and because of this, the older generation was pissed. Nothing like this had ever happened in O-Block, and something needed to be done. So in order to keep the internal peace, the older generation decided to collectively ban Manamon from O-Block.
I keep trying to think I
You
like
messed
it,
up
but I
and
don't
took
like
things
it.
too far. We don't want to hurt you, but please never come back around. Now the ball is in Mon's court. Do you want to listen to the OGs or disrespect their wishes and do what you want?
Oh,
for the
that's
first
the boy
solution,
that
you have
did
to
it?
swallow
Yeah.
your pride, but everything will be peaceful. But for the second solution, well, things could get ugly. Well, here's the problem. This is not the O-Block of the old days. The older generation have no say-so, and on top of this, they're way outnumbered. So Manamon completely disregards his ban, and the Jado jump-outs are right beside him. The original members cannot believe it, so here's what they do. First, Aroy's brother named Big P posts on Instagram that everyone in O-Block better pick a side.
Y'all better pick a side on Molly. I'm not playing. Quit playing with me, you little ass boy. Stay in y'all place.
He then goes on live and explains why he feels the way he feels.
But it took them
Boy,
to kill
got
my
59
brother.
viewers talking like that online.
That's why y'all ain't killed me. Y'all killed my little brother. Now his daughter very mad. And that angers me. And it pissed me off when she asked where her daddy at. I can't believe O-Block, man. I put my heart and soul in this block. I can't believe O-Block, man. I put my heart and soul in this block.
Then Manamon takes to Facebook and responds in the most disrespectful way possible. Letting your brother die in front of you and you don't do that just makes you a bitch even more. Telling that to a man who just lost his brother is beyond me. But like I've said, the young generation of O-Block has zero respect for their elders. Well, as you would expect,
What?
Big P takes this to heart and decides to threaten all of the Jado jump outs.
Hey, Ebo, you down? Mon, you down? Lil Mike, you down? D-Lo, yeah, Mon first, definitely first. No, matter of fact, hey, Chop, I know Mon Low, we're going to get over him anyway. We're going to feed him a sandwich before we kill him. Better move that crib. Think I'm going to let that little shit slide? Nigga, better move that crib.
Ain't this the dude we was just talking about trying to be somebody's landlord? Remember when we first started this video? It's like, how you gonna be somebody's landlord and you ain't even nobody's landlord? I'm gonna be honest with you, babe. I agree with the young niggas on this. I 1000% agree with them. That don't sound good when you say it out loud. But believe me, if somebody kill my brother in front of me, you dying right there, my nigga. Ain't gonna be, oh, we both, me and my brother dying. Nigga, you not finna kill my brother in front of me and then I'm finna get online and talk about it. That's not happening. What are we talking about?
I don't understand why we online in the first place.
No, we wouldn't. It wouldn't have been no online. I'd have been in cuffs like this. Take me, judge. He killed my brother. I saw him do it. I killed him. Do what you gotta do. I'm not finna try to hide it. Was it retaliation? Yes, motherfucker, it was. He killed my brother. What are we talking about?
Well, for whatever reason, Manamon takes this all as a joke and he responds on Instagram Live.
Sus, nobody.
He ducking his damn self.
Threat? I'm fooling me, ain't no threat. Stop trying to make it seem like he a threat. He a goofy for the internet.
I wouldn't have got online and said none of this
Threats.
stuff.
Hey, he ain't no threat, man. Stop making it seem like he a threat. It's goofy on phone grade.
Folks be woofing on that.
Nobody. I know ain't nobody gonna do. They can fool y'all with this internet. They ain't fooling me. Hey, getting that Jado jump out, boy. It's Jado jump outs. That's it for life. I take that shit to the grave. That was my boy on phone grave.
After this, Big P and the jump outs would go back and forth online for plenty of days. But sadly, this is not LA where they talk about each other and that's all that happens. This is Chicago where it always turns up badly. The rest of 2022 would be a bad year for Big P. According to him, the jump outs lit up O-Block and hit him in the face. Thankfully though, the injuries were minor and he would be okay.
They can't believe I'm still alive. I'm still alive, Shawty.
My leg hurt.
Hey, y'all should have saw him. He had the gun like this. He didn't even want to shoot. He shot me in my head. That boy was running so slow.
Regardless, this is the moment where everyone realized that the internal beef is something serious. Then, just a couple weeks later, Big P's car and his dad's house are both lit up. Thankfully, no one was injured, but his car was totaled. Yeah, things were looking bad for Big P, and on top of this, not too long.
Can we get the other side of this? Was he shooting at them? How a nigga kill your brother and then start shooting at you?
Because he was talking stuff on the internet, apparently. I don't know. I'm confused at all of it.
Nick, you can't kill my brother and then shoot at me and my daddy.
Well, they shot at the cars, he said.
He making me upset. Whoever this goofy is with these bad dreads.
Big P.
And big.
That's
Lil
what
P.
Said.
Call this he Lil P.
No,
he ain't
Lil
nothing
P
big
was
about
his
how he
brother.
living. Or Big P was his brother.
Lil P was his brother.
Oh, Lil P was that was his
that
name,
they killed,
huh?
yeah.
Oh,
QP
yeah.
or something.
Oh, okay. The quarter P.
Long after, he would be arrested for a gun charge. But you know what? This may have been a good thing, because now he was away from the Jado jump outs. But not
Got
for
away
long.
from it.
On November 20th, 2022, Munamon would be arrested for lighting up Big P's dad's house and his car. So now, Big P and Munamon were together in the Cook County Jail. Well, that's awkward.
He finna beat on that little boy, ain't he?
But
He
in
battered.
typical Chicago fashion, Munamon's charges would be dropped and he was right back on the streets. After returning to Chicago, he would start his career as a drill rapper, and honestly, I don't know why he isn't famous. Well, you guys can check out his music for yourself, and let me know if it's any good. Well, Munamon started gaining popularity, and here's where things get really complicated. For whatever reason, a bunch of original O-Block members like E-Dog are showing support in the comments. As you would imagine, Big P is pissed. He's literally been betrayed by everyone. The youngins eliminated his brother, and now all of his day one homies are taking their side. You can only imagine how he may feel.
Yeah, I made y'all last video. That's the last video we shot. I ain't getting no more videos. He can't rap. I hate his music. He sounds like he got spit in his mouth or something. And blow the 50. Hey, E, when you went to go blow a 50, bro? You don't even own a 50. You got a little ass.
Well, according to rumors, the O-Block split is much more complicated than the older versus younger generation. From what we know, in the summer
I
of
thought it just
2022,
stopped playing
he was
music,
not only
like-
beefing with the Jado jump outs, but he was also beefing with his former friends. So let me break it down. The FBG Duck murder case was a pivotal moment for O-Block. A bunch of members accused other members of snitching, and it caused a whole bunch of nonsense. Well, Big P was one of these, as he called out Boss Top for snitching. If you're unfamiliar, Boss Top is one of the original O-Block residents and was best friends with
Yeah.
OD Perry and T-Roy. So calling him out for snitching without any paperwork and doing it on live, I don't know about this one. But he claims to have information that Boss Top snitched on one of the defendants named C. Murda.
Better go check top name, Tyrese Davis. He telling on C Murder. Go find that out.
He then threatens him.
I'm killing your ass and more and look Mike D-Lo, E, Boss Top, all you down.
This is clearly a man who's distressed after what happened to his brother, and he's understandably upset. Everyone turned on him and was in the wrong, and now he's crashing out. But now here's the big question. Is Big P actually with the action, or is he all talk? Well, we don't exactly know, but something would happen to Boss Top.
That's funny. I'm sorry. The fact that he like, we need to know, is he really with the action or is he all talk? And sitting in his goddamn studio making this video talking about these real life people like they action figures. Man, you should be ashamed of yourself.
By this time, Boss Top had moved to Atlanta, so he probably wasn't thinking about Big P's threats. However, he would return to O-Block for a special occasion. It's July 4th and everyone gathers together in O-Block. Music is blasting and everyone is letting off fireworks for fun. This includes Boss Top, who's just happy to be in his neighborhood and enjoying fun with his friends. Then out of nowhere, somebody rolls through. Bang! He was hit, but thankfully he was okay.
What the happened? You're just walking around. Like, we were talking about how O-Block's so nice, but you got shot right over there, right?
I mean, I just know I was on
Instagram. I was finna go live, and I just felt some. You were about to go live, and I just felt something. Out on the street, not in the actual complex.
I just felt something, Adam. That's it.
Right.
I just felt something.
Where?
In my back, and then my arm. Came out my side right here, side of my chest.
You had to go to the hospital?
No, I went to the vet.
You know I had to go to the damn hospital. I don't want to.
That was a real dumb question.
So obviously Boss Top is in good spirits, and he's an example that if you have old beef, please get out of your city. We don't know exactly who did this, but all of this internal conflict is definitely sad. If
Oh, so you
Odie,
making
Perry,
shit up right
T-Roy, or Vaughn saw what was happening today, they would lose their minds. O-Block has completely fallen apart, and the majority of their beef is internal. On top of this, the younger generation has ruined some relationships with O-Block's former allies.
What?
So here's what happened. O-Block always had a solid relationship with a hood called NLMB. If you're unfamiliar, their territory is in the South Shore neighborhood, and they also go by EBK. Well, for
Lil
whatever reason, the
Bibby
young
and G Herbo is from.
Generation of O-Block would get into it with them. Sadly, this would claim the life of a young success story in the hood.
I
A
thought that
junior
was a
student
girl,
at Northern
like-
Illinois University would lose his life while leaving his sister's house. Elijah just so happened to be the younger brother of EBK Juvie, one of the most controversial figures in Chicago streets. Through all of the chaos growing up, Elijah was able to stay focused in school and make his dreams come true. Because of this, his loss was incredibly devastating to the community. Well, according to the internet, a 16-year-old Jado Jumpout was arrested for it. And they're saying it's the same person who Steven Jackson came and checked in with.
We're in the middle of it.
What?
do you mean? Y'all pull up and take pictures and y'all not allowed to. They sneak. And one thing
Can I
about
pause
it,
it,
if
please?
you're a
This
real
will be the
one,
last pause. Did this 50-year-old just go meet with a 16-year-old?
That's what they said.
That's.
They
Is that,
checked in. He checked in with.
I'm asking you.
that
Did I
baby.
Did I hear that properly?
You did.
Okay. That's all. I ain't saying nothing else.
you don't mind checking
Nigga
in.
got that nigga whole life on his neck, and you
I
going
check
to check
in. I check in with
That's
the real
crazy.
one. That's why I'm in the middle of O-Block.
Where you at?
You see the hoop?
Where you at?
I'm in the middle of O-Block. Me.
This nigga was in the NBA for 15 years, man. He got a ring.
But on a serious note, we can only hope that the beef in O-Block will stop. After all of these generations of beef, absolutely nothing has come from it but devastation. On top of this, you're beefing over a block that you don't even own. How silly is that? The craziest part is that O-Block is literally about to get demolished. Well, all we can do is hope that the future of Chicago gets better from here.
I'ma just give my quick thoughts on this, man. I'm confused. I'm perplexed. I don't understand why we doing this. Like, it was so like I lost count of how many people died in this video. How many people were shot. Like, these videos are so depressing to do. But you know what though, babe? Sometimes niggas be nigging, babe. And you just gotta remember, like, they gonna be niggas. And you just gotta stay away from them and just watch them from afar. Cause I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Yeah, I think this will be definitely the last game
Not if this get 30,000 views,
video
it ain't.
I will be watching. This is super sad. It's super depressing.
If this get 30,000 views, you gonna watch another one.
I think this was the part one of this when I said, like, where are the parents?
Yeah.
Because still, for the life of me, I can't understand how exactly this happens. Like, how does it get this bad? And the only thing I keep coming back to, along with, right, it's not enough activities in the community. It's not this, it's not that. Yeah, we can blame it on a lot of things, but the parents are the first line of defense for society.
I agree.
It is your job bringing people into this world. You are the first line of defense for society. Meaning, it is your job to ensure the little motherfucker you raising don't become a menace to society. That's it. That's all. It's sad. And rest in peace to all them babies. Most of them were babies. Like, to all them young men, to all them, it's so freaking sad. Like, it hurts my soul. Like, I don't like seeing this. You know, I mean, of course it makes it that much more devastating because they're young black men. And we already down in black men. We already have so much that we are trying to push back against. And for this to be going on,
it's kind of, it's sad. It's sad.
It's devastating. So rest in peace to all them young men. I can only hope and wish that one day this is not a thing.
But I feel you. Well, look, this is a bit of a somber. I enjoyed, like, I thought the video was pretty informative. Like, this was more of a reaction more than it's an end of like how we enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, how we do with music. So this is more about, trying to digest this information that we just got from this and the feelings, the emotions that come from this whole debacle of what we just watched. It's kind of hard to do, but I want to know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Are we in the middle of a never-ending cycle of just death and destruction in our communities? We want to know what y'all think down in the comments. It's been keithvsstar. We out. Peace.